We begin with the budgetary controversy, where the chairman of the Senate Committee on Population, Abdul Ningi, insists that there's a 3.7 trillion naira inserted into the 2024 appropriation bill. Senator Ningi says he granted his recent interview on the matter as a lawmaker and not on behalf of the Northern Senators Forum. In an interview with the British Broadcasting Corporation, the House Service on Saturday, Senator Ningi is reported to have alleged that the budget passed by the National Assembly for the 2024 fiscal year is different from the one being implemented. His comments have drawn criticism from the presidency, which described Ningi's claims as false. Now let's hear what Ningi had to say earlier today on the issue.
At no time did I say Bola Ahmed Tinubu is implementing two budgets. There was no time. At no time did I say Bola Tinubu was biased against the North. The House of Virgin is there. At no time did I say Bola Tinubu is implementing 25%, 25 trillion budget. The House of Virgin is there. And I also said, in the course of our perusing the budget, which Onanuga seems to have dwelt on, I say we have established very reasonable doubt about 25 trillion so far has nexus in the budget. That means there is money, and then there is project, and then there is location. Money, project, location. But we are yet to ascertain 3 trillion of that budget. We have established the 3 trillion in the budget. We have not established its location and the place. But I said, going forward, the budget evaluation is ongoing.
Well, for more on this, I'm joined in the studio by Senator representing Lagos Central, Senator Wasiu Eshilokun, Sani. He is the chairman, Senate Committee on Marine Transport, and he was also the former Deputy Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly. Thank you so much, Senator, for joining me here on Prime Time to dissect the issues we're facing in the country.
Thank you for having me.
Now, you just had Senator Abdul Ningi insisting that, look, some 3.7 trillion naira of the 2024 budget has no nexus. There's money, there's no project, there's no location. And then you have the presidency, on the other hand, refuting this allegation. How do you reconcile these two very strong statements and concerns raised by Senator Ningi? And what steps can the Senate take to address these concerns that will sort of look at the transparency issue? Because if you take a look at this in the wider spectrum, it has to do with transparency, especially when you have citizens that have lost trust in the public sector.
Well, what I would say is that whatever, all I can say is that Senator Ningi is now capitulating, is now denying, from what I read earlier, is denying what he has said before. And then for the avoidance of doubt, the budget speech, you will see the breakdown, little breakdown in the budget speech, paragraph 28 of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu speech to the Joint National Assembly, where I said that the total budget presented for consideration of the National Assembly is 27.5 trillion, 9 trillion for recurrent expenditure, 8.2 trillion for debt servicing, and another 8.7 trillion for capital expenditure. So I do not know where the mathematics that Senator Ningi used to arrive at his 25 trillion. Also, I believe personally that Senator Ningi is on a voyage of putting a fiction, whatever his mindset. He's also on a voyage of subterfuge. He's also using tomfoolery for the Senate. He has forgotten that the Senate is where we all belong to. It must be protected. The budget was passed by the whole National Assembly. Every page of it was the Senate president who would say, will so and so form part of the schedule. All those who agree say aye. If you say everybody says aye or the majority says aye, it hit the gavel. And that was how it was done for everything. And then what was his own calculation? Where is the 25 trillion coming from? If the presidency has said that it's 27.5 and the budget speech, paragraph 28, is there for anybody who wants to reconcile whatever to go and look at. Whatever he has seen is the one that must bring them forth for us to see. I just think that he has said, or what I'd like to have said, that the budget was killed against the North. But I think that he wants to become an ethnic jingoist. He wants to become, and is employing subterfuge to achieve his own objective. And it's not fair for all of us, about 400 and something Nigerians, 350 something House of Reps member, 109 senator, we did something jointly. One of us just went outside and started denying and casting aspersion on people. And that is not good for us. And I think that if you have anything that you think is of concern to you, the best thing to do is to bring forth. Like in our sitting, you are free to lay your own fashion and say, this is the way I see it. Okay, the other guy who are in the appropriation will also say, okay, this is the way I see it. You can now jointly look at it and say how the figure tallies or not. And we'll come to a resolution about everything. That is how an assembly is run. But first and foremost, you went to the press to release something that is not in the interest of the nation, not in the interest of the Senate, not in the interest of the House of Reps. Just wild accusation, a figment of your own imagination. Yeah, if he has it, let him bring it forth. Let it be debated, but has not done the right thing. That is not our expectation from an experienced legislator. That is not the expectation.
I like that you ended by saying he's an experienced legislator, which he is. He's been in the Senate for so many years. And I think he agrees that the budget is about 28.7 trillion. What he's saying is that around 25 trillion naira is accounted for. You can see that, okay, look, there's money here. Is going to this project, is going to this location. What he's saying is that around 3.7 trillion doesn't have that nexus. And he's saying is his own personal findings, which I guess he might have to bring out maybe tomorrow at the plenary. But I want to ask you a question. Given his standing as a senator, as the top legislator in the country, how do you view the balance between a senator's privilege to raise concerns and also the Senate's mechanisms to then discipline its members? How would you ensure such process doesn't stifle crucial oversight, or maybe a dissenting, someone who has dissenting opinions? No,
it is not uncommon for anybody to have a dissenting opinion in the Senate. It is a process he employed that is a concern to everybody. If you found out anything at all, the ideal thing is for him to show it to the leadership. Okay,
so you think the response would have been different if he came to the assembly to present
to the leadership
rather than going
we have executive session, present to everybody, and maybe if there is dementia somewhere, we will remind ourselves, okay, look at this and this and that. He may have forgotten one or two things. Okay, look at this and this and that. And then maybe he will have changed his opinion. Or maybe he will further inform us. However, what he's saying is cannot be right. Whatever he has said, he has not found this. Ask him.
You are 100% sure
That
that
is-
what he's saying, the discrepancies he's describing,
is
does not exist
is absolutely
in the
wrong.
2024
In what
budget?
in what he has seen, ask him. Is the budget of the judiciary, is it there? Is the budget of UBEC, is it there? Is the tertiary TET fund, is it there? Is the National Assembly budget, is it there? Is UBEC. Those are, and there are other governmental organizations that, because most of them are on first line charge, that is why it needs to go further before he takes his things to the press. He has just messed up at this particular point in time, where all hands must be on deck in salvaging the economy, where we must engender trust, where people must see us to be above board. He's just trying to mess up the National Assembly for no just cause. I disagree with him totally. I disagree with the tactics employed, and I felt that it's just been sensationalization of the whole issue. You can't do that to your colleagues. You can't do that to an institution you belong to. No, that is not the way. And they first started, the budget was skewed against the North. How?
We'll get to that regional tension a little bit later.
Okay.
Let's just focus on what Senator Ningi has been talking about when it comes to the budget. And you spoke about the institution and transparency. And like I said earlier, Nigerians have not really believed over the years that there's much transparency when it comes to the budgetary process. So in your view, what steps should be taken? Because this really, excluding what Senator Ningi has been saying, it's really a wider issue when you look at it. So in your view, what steps should be taken to ensure that future budgets are more scrutinized and also accessible to the public, to enhance citizen engagement and also oversight? Because in a country where the citizens have 100% trust and this type of issue comes up, you see a lot of people saying, no, look at this, everything is intact. But citizens don't have that trust. They don't believe there's any transparency, which is why if you go on social media, if you listen to experts, if you listen to analysts, everyone is saying, look, okay, we actually need to look into this. This is bizarre if it's true. Well,
it is not true. And the budget process in the country has gone through a lot of reforms over the years. And now in lawmaking, because budgetary, budget is just a quantitative analysis of expenditure over a specific period of time. And when they bring the budget, the appropriation committee will look at it. However, because the National Assembly or the legislature, so to speak, even if it were to be in the state, work through committees, the relevant committees will be given that budget to look at. They will call the relevant MDAs, come and defend your budget. They will defend the budget where they have reservation, where they want increment, where they think the vote allocated is not sufficient. They will tell us. Where they think we can do one or two things, they will tell us, okay, this amount so voted for so and so is not sufficient. Okay, justify it. Where were you last year? Why will you need so and so amount? Together, we look at it, and that is in the full glare of the public and the press. Whatever defense has to be done by any MDs must be with the press presence. They will be present, and everything will be done. Then the chairman of the committee, if he's satisfied with whatever he has done, will now take it to appropriation and defend what he has done. And nowadays, even on your laptop over there, if you want to know the budget of say, Ministry of Establishment, Ministry of Tourism, Ministry of Youth and Culture, just Google. The budget will come out. The provision will come out. So and so has been earmarked for capital. So and so for recurrent. Try it. You will see it. Even as a 2024 budget will be there at the press of a button. So it has gone through a lot of, you can assess, you can do whatever you like. You can investigate whatever budget has been given to any MDA or whatever. So it has gone through a lot of reform, but that does not say that there are no rooms for improvement.
I was just about to say that.
There should be rooms because we have continual engagement. We have seminars where people, institutions try to improve our knowledge, try to improve the process, so to speak. And the National Assembly or the Senate is receptive to all of these engagement, all these trainings, so that we can improve what we are trying to do. But from where we are coming from, we have gone a lot. We have done a lot nowadays because it is now more transparent than it was 20 or 25 years ago, and that I'm sure about.
And so you believe that Nigerians should really have that trust in the National Assembly and the way things are done when it comes to the budgetary process?
Yes, I enjoy Nigerians to have trust in the National Assembly and their senators and members of House of Reps, that they will do what is right for the nation and scrutinize the budget so that it will be budget that will serve the greatest number of people. So that is what we're trying to do, and that is what the essence of the budget and defense, all these process, very, very transparent. Even when you are going to defend your budget with the appropriation, the committee, the press will be there, everybody will be there, and it is recorded. It is recorded by the press, by even the National Assembly press corps. They are recorded and open and
all right, tomorrow,
accessible.
Tomorrow at plenary, it promises to be a very interesting plenary tomorrow, as this topic will be a topic of discussion, I presume. What should we be expecting tomorrow? I know Senator Ningi has said, look, if I'm going to be suspended, I'm going to take it. I stand by what I say. I know some people have called for some charges against him. What should we expect tomorrow at plenary? I know you can't give us everything, but we need to just know what's to come tomorrow.
Well, I can't be preemptive. I do not even belong to the leadership.
Yeah.
I'm a chairman of a committee. What I expect is for him to come forth and say, these are my observations. And who allow, or they should allow, the man who handled the budget, who is the chairman of the appropriation, to also tell us his own part of the story. That is what we should have done earlier.
In the first place.
Then we'll do it, and then we'll know where the fault lies. And maybe it is at the discretion of the presiding officer to say, okay, is maybe giving it to a committee to go and look at and what have you. But dragging the name of the Senate, dragging the name of the Senate president in the mud is nothing but a shameful act. Because the Senate president is the embodiment of the collective will of the Senate. And whoever your aspiration, your whatever, should be subsumed under the collective interest of the Senate that you belong to. There is no problem in you having issues. Yes, we can have issues. It must be sorted out, everybody, there must be explanation, and you must let us see your own point of argument, not rushing to the press and maligning your colleagues and then maligning the system. He said he doesn't say there is nothing, Tinubu did not do this, he didn't. No, that is by implication, implying. You don't need to put it succinctly. It's implying that's what you are trying to do. If the budget is not, if somebody has been inserted, who inserted it? Who is the head of that place? Who is the chairman of the Senate Committee on Appropriation? It's by implying. You don't have to say it outright, but you are trying to undermine the system. You are trying to undermine the Senate that you belong to. I'm not saying that, yeah, we all cannot be on the same page on every point, but there must be channel of redress. There must be way and manner where you should lay your complaint and let everybody see what you are trying to achieve, rather than trying to malign all the reputation people have built over the years. It's unbecoming.
I mean, Nigerians will be watching, and Arise News will be there tomorrow when this is tabled. We want to see the evidence because, truth be told, Nigerians need to know where our scarce resources are being channeled to. And if there's any truth in this, Nigerians need to know. And I hope it's handled with a lot of caution and transparency. Now, let's touch on the allegations of regional bias, lack of understanding of the country's complexities. He said that of the presidency. Now, considering the presidency's emphasis on the budget's equitable distribution across all Nigerian regions, just provide us with some insights on how the 2024 Appropriation Act ensures that fair sort of reach.
I think that from what the National Assembly are done, there is equity, there is fairness, and what I'm trying to say is that if you are not an ethnic jingoist, there had been budgets before the 2024 budget. We had 2023 budget, 2022 budget, 2021 budget. Did you subject those budgets to the same parameters and know if it were balanced? If you didn't subject those to such parameters, why the 2024 budget? If you do not have an underlying intention to cause chaos or to cause disaffection between one part of the country with the other, you've not subjected 2023 to such parameters. So if you have complaints, that's what I'm saying. Okay, these are the parameters that I use to think that the 2024 budget is not equitable.
Yeah.
We will now say, okay, that's good, let's look at it. But is this the situation when an Hausa man or so? I do not want to play ethnocentric.
What sort of parameters are put in place to ensure that the budgets are equitable?
The thing is, whatever you do, whenever project had to be done, they spread it. Each region will have the same project spread across. If they are doing roads, if they are trying to solve Lagos-Ibadan road, they will find another road in North Central. They will find another road, Southeast, find another road in South-South. Just make sure that everybody is carried along and something is done in each specific area. And I think for the last few years, Nigerians or the presidency, so to speak, either it was Buhari, either it was Jonathan, they are tried to spread the projects across the geopolitical zones. Even as small as an MD under me, let's say that we're talking of Nimasa, they wanted to do skill acquisition center. They did one in Apapa in Lagos. They did 5 others in the 5 other geopolitical zones of the country. They're trying to help university. They spread the money and make sure that there is an institution in each of the geopolitical zones that will benefit from such lodges or projects. That is what they've been done. And I was thinking that you can't be holier than the Pope. The Deputy Senate President is an Hausa man, so to speak. I do not want to delve into these ethnocentric issues because it never gets us anywhere. But he is the Speaker of the House of Reps is an Hausa man. The chairman of the budget in the House of Reps is an Hausa man. Do you now think is only the chairman of the Senate Appropriation Committee that is from the Southwest, the 3 others, and then probably the Senate President also from the South-South? Those 3, would they open their... don't forget that the Deputy Senate President, as we speak, was the chairman of appropriation in the 9th Senate. will he open his eyes and let his region be cheated? What will the Bishi, Honorable Bishi, be doing if he allows other regions to cheat where he's coming from, and probably the speaker? You can't be older than those people. They wouldn't open their eyes and make sure that they were underserved by the federal government. I think he's been older than the Pope. Been older than the Pope, and I'm even glad that he now says, I'm not speaking for the northern senator. He said he was speaking for the northern senator. And I was thinking that we have 58 senators from the northern part of the countries. The APC has about 30. The PDP that he belongs to has 23. And other parties, 5. How can 23 be speaking for 58? How can 23 be speaking for 28? That was why others are now saying we were not part. It was your intention. That's why I used.
He said he's speaking for himself. He's not speaking.
Interpretation of the BBC said the northern senators. That was what was in the news. Am I right?
I mean, he's the chairman.
He's the chairman. That is why you do not let an opposition become chairman. Because he would try to...
Why? Why are you doing that? Please, can you expatiate on that?
Because he would try to use his own idea to overlord. He will use the advantage to do certain things that will not be in the collective interest of everybody. That is why people are now saying that. How can you, without telling us, even if you had all this, you ought to even discuss it with us. We all have to be on the same page. You had called the Senate president. Okay. They said, bring forth your allegation, make it formal, bring it forth. You did not. You ran to the press without carrying along your people. You are trying to, as it were, undermine the others. You are trying to, it's politics, and it is purely politics that he was trying to do. And also, it's not only politics, it's only letting those things that divide us to come to the fore, which we shouldn't allow.
We shouldn't really be playing politics.
We shouldn't be playing politics with
resources that we don't even have. Now, looking ahead, Senator, is everything okay? Looking ahead, how do we now envisage the Senate handling this controversy? One, to now ensure that, look, future budgetary processes are handled with the utmost integrity, transparency. And when you look at this sort of allegation of discrepancy, we must understand that there has to be a fundamental problem. And you've spoken about how there have been reforms about the budgetary process, how transparent, how plain it is, everyone can access it. But we have to also speak the truth to ourselves. The way that the nation is reacting to these allegations just shows that, look, they don't see any transparency. It's more like we need to find what is wrong. So just looking ahead, what can this institution do to ensure that this sort of discrepancies doesn't even happen? Because someone of that high legislative position, I mean, can't just come out and start blurting out things from nowhere, really.
What I'm trying to say is, I'm saying that even the National Assembly is open to reforms. If there are suggestions, the leadership will take, they will look at it and see if it will be beneficial to the system. And I'm saying that as we speak, it is more open than it was, because you can see everything right there at the press of the button. And that there is nothing that is done behind the scene. Every defense, when the president brings the budget, they will read it out. Everybody will see it. That is why I'm saying, look at the paragraph 28 of the president's speech. The budget, the small analysis is there, 9 point something for recurrent expenditure, 8.2 for debt servicing, 8.7 for capital and project. And from that, they take it to the appropriation committee. Appropriation committee, each committees of the National Assembly will now call their MDA for defense. And this is to be done in the presence of everybody, including the press. The minister or the head of the MDA will come, defend, and even make requisition of what he thought they would need. And our questions are asked, what have you done with the previous budget? Is there? It will go through out of the so and so amount they are marked. I was able to assess so and so amount, so and so amount, so and so amount. We are now going to this year, and this is what we are requesting. Everybody is present, and anybody that is interested is welcome. And don't forget, most of these things are transmitted live. You can follow the process live, so to speak. So,
okay, all right. That just wanted to just be a devil's advocate a little bit. Is there any chance that there's sort of a stifling method in the institution that might make a senator go to the media to say, look, something is wrong with the budget. 3.7 trillion, there's no nexus, rather than actually coming through the channel that you have explained? Might there be any sort of issue there to make someone do that?
No, there is no stifling. In fact, I can tell you the most distinguished senator, Ningi,
because he's getting a lot of backlash, a lot of senators disowning him, a lot of people calling for his
because
head.
in the Senate, because he was a leader, majority leader in the House of Reps, and before coming to the Senate president was giving him all the latitude. Even when he doesn't have anything to say, they will still call him. What is your view on this? He has all the latitude, he has all the chance to make his concerns known to others. But he shows politics over and above the system, and in also trying to destroy the system that he has benefited from. That is not too good. He has all the latitude, and I'm sure that even if he has raised this, it will be looked into, and we'll look at it, and then what is appropriate. We have committees that can look at it. It is at the discretion of the leadership. They set up another committee, look at it. If you had engaged a consultant, so to speak, we can also engage another consultant. Please look. Then the question is, what were the terms of reference you gave to your consultant? What materials did you give to him? Was this materials exhaustive? Is everything included? Or you just gave him a certain material, or you just gave him a certain terms of reference, and then it comes up with, because that is where you do your inferences and deduction from. So we are saying that you should allow other people to have input and say, okay, this is my defense. Even in common law, if there must be fairness in trial, you must hear from the other party before you pronounce them guilty. In this process, you just went out and pronounced everybody
Well, tomorrow
guilty.
Everyone will have their chances at plenary to lay it all out on the table for Nigerians. Thank you so much, Senator Sani, for joining me today on Prime Time.